Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about The Haunting Hour Brushes with Madness. Oh my god. This is one of the freakiest episodes ever in the Haunting Hour series. I don't understand how they went from greatness in the season 1 to complete crap during the second half of the second season. But oh my god. This episode is freaky. I could not believe that twist ending. I could not believe how dark it was. I could not believe how eerie it was. I'm like, oh my god. It's so good. So, basically, it entails a boy by the name of Corey. Corey is at a comic book convention with his best friend Emma. Him and Emma are extremely good friends. Corey is like this obsessed comic book nerd. His favorite artist of all time is a man by the name of Alan Miller. See, Alan Miller is plays homage to two of the greatest comic book creators of all time, Alan Moore and also Frank Miller, who wrote many Batman comics, among other ones. Some people call them some of the greatest to ever live because they changed the dynamic of what comic books are. So Corey is completely geeking out even before he meets Alan Miller. And Emma is telling him to cool it, you know what I'm saying? This dude's famous. He probably doesn't like fans geeking out all over him. He can't help it. This dude has read every graphic novel the man has ever created. And so when he gets to him, now, before I get a little bit further, the actor who plays Corey, this dude does a very good job. He does a good job in everything I've ever seen him in. I can't wait to see him in Scream 5. This dude stardom has exploded with movie after movie. He's done 2 Haunting Hour episodes. He was in the Goosebumps live action first movie. He starred in 13 Reasons Why, and now he's finna be in Scream 5. The girl, his name is Dylan, I believe. The girl, she starred in a lot of stuff, but her stuff I've never seen. Now, the dude who plays Alan Miller, I've seen that dude for many years. I saw him on So Weird. He was a clone of Lex Luthor in Smallville. He was the scientist in Man of Steel. And I think I might have saw him in something else, but I can't think of it. I think he was recently in something or another. Something I just got through saying. Oh, I think it was Drew, Nancy Drew probably, I think. I don't know. But anyway. So the moment he meets Alan Miller, he is all geekdom fandom. The dude is geeking out big time. Alan Miller does not like that. Alan Miller is a very private man. And so Corey's going on and on about he's read every graphic novel you ever wrote and all this other stuff and blah 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 blah. And then he's all like, I'm your biggest fan. And then and Alan Miller's like, what? He does not like hearing that. He's all like, I follow you on Twitter. Alan freaks out. He's like, I'm done here. I don't want to be here no more. He's all like, it's because of fans like you who are so obsessed. The reason why I don't do these conventions no more. So he's trying his best to make him calm down, but Alan is just out of there. He tells him, don't write me, don't follow me, don't tweet me, don't do nothing. Just leave me alone. He cannot stand this dude. So he just ups and leaves. And so, Corey is heartbroken. He's all my hero isn't who I thought he would be. That's something Rob Van Dam said, RVD from wrestling. He said, never meet your heroes because your heroes are just like regular people. You might be disappointed. And so, as Corey is kind of getting lectured by Corey, as he's getting lectured by Emma, he realized that Alan forgot his paintbrushes. These are the same paintbrushes he paints every single last graphic novel with. So he tries to give it to him. And so as he's chasing him down, the bodyguard steps in And and so the bodyguards are like, you leave him alone or he'll put like a restraining order on you, stuff like that. So he's unable to give him the brushes. And so he decides, you know what, since you want to be a jerk, I'm going to keep him. So Emma tells him this is a bad idea. You need to get him back to him. He's like, I can't. The dude won't let me do it. So, like, one thing he does, once he gets the brushes, something happens to him. It's almost like something has taken over him. He's like in a trance. And he begins painting on like paper and stuff. And so the next day at school, he was supposed to meet Emma at the locker, but he doesn't. And this pisses her off. When he shows her what he's been drawing and everything, it's a picture of a man in a black trench coat and a black fedora hat, and the mouth and jaw area looks like that of Alan Miller. And he said, "This is the villain of my comic book, the Mad Artist or something like that." And so he based it off of what's his face, and so she thinks he's just like crazy or whatnot. So like when he goes home, all of a sudden he cannot help himself. He like is just in this weird, strange like trance. And so like he ends up like painting on his walls. And as Emma comes in his room, she's just kind of like, dude, your mom is going to kill you and everything. And he's all like, I just can't help it, man. I'm like, I'm inspired. And she's all like, nah, you're just crazy and everything. But he's constantly like painting. And it's all kind of stuff in his paintings on the wall. There's pictures of Emma. There's a door with an X on it. There's that the Mad like Artist again and stuff. And so he can't help himself but to paint. And so when she leaves eventually, you notice something. The camera pans away and there's a man staring at him through the window from a faraway distance. And the man is wearing a black trench coat and a black fedora. And so at some point in time, he wakes up. And when he wakes up, he has like no idea what he's been doing. He hasn't even realized he's been drawing. When he looks at his drawing, he realizes that the mouth area looks just like that of Alan Miller. He can't believe he drew him and stuff. He has no idea what's really going on. But as he's looking at like his pictures and stuff, he's noticing that he drew Emma and everything. Like he just now realized that after been looking at it for hours and crap. And he noticed that there's a person driving behind Emma in a car. So like he calls her and he asks straight up like, what are you doing? And she's all like, I'm heading to somebody's well, first she thinks he's there to apologize for the way he's been acting to her, but she says she's finna go head to her friend's house to do like a project together. And he asks her like, what street are you on? And she tells him it's the same street that he painted. And then so like he's all like, is there like a car behind you or anything, like a black car? So she looks around and she sees a black car. And she's like, yeah, how did you know? He's all like, yeah, there, like as fast as you can. And she's like, why? The car starts coming like towards her, speeding up. So she's just like in panic mode and everything. And then so when it finally catches up with her, a person gets out. We can't see his face. All we see is his feet. She is terrified. He is on his bike charging towards her and screams out her name. It scares the person in the car and the person takes off driving. When they see each other, they give each other like a big hug and embrace. Like these two really love each other. One thing that's really great about this episode is that I love when it switches from the real life event and it goes to that of the drawing. That is such a cinematic, like cool thing to see. It's like the comic book came directly to life and it almost matches up perfectly to what's in real life. So basically all they had to do was take that still frame, put it in Photoshop, and then make it look like it's hand drawn and stuff. It's awesome. So he tells her and everything that he believes that Alan Miller has placed like a spell on the brushes, and he cannot, and that what he's painting is coming to life. She is freaked out. She's all like, man, you gotta destroy these brushes. Like, no, I gotta figure out like how this end and everything. Like, if Alan Miller is like really behind this, like we gotta find out what he's up to. So she said, okay, yeah, the best thing to do is to paint. So his whole like room is painted over and stuff. But she thought like you can use like the doors of like the closet, like the other side that doesn't have like the drawings on it and stuff. So he starts to paint and she gets kind of annoyed. She's all like, want a soda? He's not even answering her. She goes downstairs to read something. It's been like a long time. She goes back up. He is still painting and she's pissed because now the only thing he's painting is her. And she's all like, dude, why are you painting me? And if this stuff supposed to come alive, then why are you painting me like in danger and stuff? He's all like, I can't help it. I'm just like painting what I see. So she's furious and she like leaves. She's all like, you know what? I don't want no part of this and everything. I told you get on Brush's back and you wouldn't do it. So she leaves, and as soon as she leaves, he gets mad and he has red paint this time on the brush and he slings it. And the paint slashes where like her neck area would be and stuff. So he's worried. He's like, oh no, like I painted her like dying and stuff. So then as he's painting, he hears a weird noise. And then he looks at his drawing and it's him standing at the door with a giant X on there. He runs to his door and there's like a giant X there. Emma has now been taken. He rushes to like her house and stuff, right? This is when the thing starts to get like really pump and amp. The music is getting more intense. It's like this like eerie violin type music that's really intense and stuff. So he goes to her house. Her door is unlocked. Nobody is there. The lights are out. He sees huge splashes of red stuff on the wall. And so he's worried, but he sees it's nothing but paint. He thought it was blood. So then he's like walking around the house and he's all like, Emma, if you're like pranking me, I'm gonna kill you and everything. He goes into her room that's been trashed and written in red is, she's mine. So there's only one place for him to go. See, before she got kidnapped, he was looking at his paintings and he saw that like he painted Alan Miller's house. So he knows she's there. So he rushes to Alan Miller's house. He goes inside. He's creeping along. And then he finds a hidden compartment in the wall. It's like some type of torture room. It's dirty, it's nasty, and it splashes of paint everywhere. And he finds this hole in the wall because he hears her screaming and hollering. So when he gets to her, she is terrified when she sees Corey. She's all like, how can you be here and everything? He's like, what are you talking about? And we see this figure rise up behind him. In the next scene, he has now been strapped to the table. She is strapped to another table. And she's all like, this is all your fault. He's all like, what are you talking about? And then enters the mad paint artist and everything in his black trench coat and his black fedora, and he's just talking to Corey. But his voice sounds familiar. When he reveals himself, it's Corey. Corey's all like, how can this be? I created you. He's like, no, dear boy, I created you. And so he pulls down this giant buzzsaw on a chain and he activates it. And he says something, I forget what he said, but something about like it's coming to an end or something like that. He slowly pushes the chainsaw towards the kids. They're hollering, they're screaming, they can't get off the table. Then you'll never believe what happened. It cuts to Alan Miller. He's in a room that's decked out all in blue. There's nothing in the room. There's nothing but walls and floor and a table. And he's painting. His bodyguard comes in. He's all like, have you finished your new graphic novel? He's like, oh yes. I just had to like get this out. And so like he said he calls it the what is it? Brushes with Madness or something like that. And he says about like an obsessed like comic book boy fan that won't leave his artist alone. And then so the bodyguards are like, well, won't that one kid you based this off of be kind of like upset? And he's like, oh no, there's nothing he can do about that because he'll never read it. And he takes the comic and he puts it through the shredder. So then, as like back to the drawing, like Corey in the fedora and the trench coat is coming towards them faster and faster, and then they screaming, and then it turns to like pages, and it gets shredded, and it ends. And it's like, my God, it ended so like darkly and stuff. The kids are like dying off screen. It's like, oh my God. I could not believe how it ended and stuff. It like that's the great thing about The Haunting Hour. It ends so much more darkly than um Goosebumps ever did. However, like I said before, Goosebumps had like the better like atmosphere, the music, and the scenery. Because one thing I've noticed about this episode and another episode I'm going to talk about is that every neighborhood that every episode that has a neighborhood, it's always that same neighborhood. It's them same houses that are like gray, bluish, and beige. Every time they're in school, it's always the same classroom, the same school. Like when they filmed this show, they found one location and they stuck with it. Unlike Goosebumps that had them all over Canada and stuff. That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.